Hey guys, English Dave here, and I'm bringing you the Entertain Lynx spoiler-free review for Kong, Skull Island. In 1973, toward the end of the Vietnam War, a secret organization known as Monarch leads an expedition to an island that is shrouded in mystery and identified as the origin for new species and monsters, including the mythic Kong. Directed by Jordan Vogt Roberts, who incidentally is now working on the Metal Gear Solid game-to-film adaptation, the film doesn't waste time getting into the thick of things. Unlike 2014's Godzilla, this film doesn't tease you with Kong. We spend some time being introduced to the human cast, then it throws you right into the mix. This is Kong's movie, and the director wants to make sure we all understand that. Setting it in 1973 just as the US is pulling its troops out of Vietnam adds a nice layer to the film. This isn't just a movie about giant monsters, there's a layer of the story that focuses on the commentary of war and specifically the controversy behind the Vietnam War. It gives us a taste of how the public viewed the US involvement and how soldiers themselves were affected. They went in expecting to be heroes only to realize that they were viewed as the bad guys. There's a great line in the film where John C. Reilly's character says, "You don't go into someone's house and start dropping bombs unless you're picking a fight." That line has so much meaning to the film and the era it's set in and adds layers to a film that could easily have just been a mindless monster mash. But don't get me wrong, the monster fights are great and there are a lot of them. We've seen a few in the trailers, but the film itself does not hold back and you're constantly entertained with the epic encounters, be it Kong vs humans or Kong vs other monsters. While Kong is undoubtedly the star of the film, the movie is also full of big name stars. All of them bring their special touch to the movie, with personal standouts being Sam Jackson as a soldier who can't accept the end of war, mixed with the in-your-face personality of Sam Jackson doing what Sam Jackson does.
You are going to tell me everything I don't know, or I'm going to blow your head off.
However, my favorite character was surprisingly John C. Reilly's Hank. I hated the idea of adding his brand of comedy to a film like this, but thankfully, in the context of the film, it works and it works brilliantly. The trailers were misleading in regards to his character, and when you see the film, it all makes sense.
I call them skull crawlers. Why? Because it sounds neat.
Okay.
Look, I just made that name up. I'm trying to scare you.
I'm fine calling them that. Are you cool with it?
Yeah, that seems like
I
that
like
seems
the
like
name.
Tom Hiddleston is charming as ever in the heroic male lead, and future Captain Marvel Brie Larson holds her own with the mostly male cast. Thankfully, she isn't played as a typical damsel in distress. Oh, and side note, this movie is full of actors who have played or will play Marvel characters. But like I mentioned, the film is full of big stars who are all serviceable, but for better or for worse, we don't get much time to flesh them out. Again, remember, this is Kong's film, not theirs. However, what is good about that is that it makes it harder to predict who will die and who will survive. Usually you can call it depending on if it's a random actor you don't really know. Visually, the film is absolutely gorgeous. It completely nails the 1970s aesthetic and looks like many war movies set in Vietnam, particularly Apocalypse Now, which the filmmakers say was a huge influence on this movie. Cinematographer Larry Fong, who's worked a lot with Zack Snyder, does a great job creating visuals that pop yet feel grounded at the same time. When they arrive on the island, you could pause the movie at any point and make a cool poster out of the screenshots. The monster fights are framed well enough that you could pay attention to what's happening, and there's some really cool shots used, particularly one where we are inside a helicopter as it's attacked by Kong. I do have some minor issues though, one pertaining to the cinematography. As great as the film looks, I feel like they never quite nailed the use of perspective like Gareth Edwards used in Godzilla, and more recently in Rogue One. Yes, the monsters look huge, but you never get the same sense of scale that Edwards perfected where you really feel, holy shit, these things are huge. It's not really a problem, it never takes you out of the movie. It's more that I've been spoiled with what Edwards achieved and I wish it was continued here. My other minor issue, and this is something that's more personal preference, is that as much as I love the focus being on Kong, at times it felt that the film was in parts a response to the reaction from Godzilla. Many fans didn't like the fact that we don't see Godzilla through most of the film. Like the movie Jaws, we are merely teased by his presence, an aspect that I personally loved. With Kong, he's constantly in the shot and it felt like the studio was saying, "There you go fans, is this what you want?" Well, ultimately it is what I wanted, I just wish they held off just a little. If you're a fan of giant monster movies, this is a great film to be excited for. It's fun and exhilarating, and any of its shortcomings can be dismissed because this movie knows what it wants to be and does it well. It also does a great job of setting up the future of the franchise, establishing that it's set in the same universe as Godzilla, serving as a sort of prequel to that film. I'm excited for the future of the franchise and can't wait to see the King and the God go toe to toe. I'm just crossing my fingers they throw in some Pacific Rim Jaegers into the mix. Kong Skull Island is a must-see in theaters as a giant monster movie deserved to be seen in a giant screen. Thanks guys for listening. If you enjoyed this review, please give us a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button and share with your peeps. If you'd like to hear our spoiler-filled thoughts on the movie, check out our Entertain Lynx podcast, which will be up Monday. There you can hear myself and the team go in-depth on what we thought. The link will be in the description below once it goes up. My name's English Dave, and this has been an Entertain Lynx spoiler-free review for Skull Island. See ya.